you from cricket.com, which is into fantasy cricket, and then we fantasy gaming, so to say, right? And then we also have Pocket Aces Loco, which is into like this new evolving domain of live streaming gamers and their play, right? So which is like $1 billion company in itself. So I guess the first question, or intrigued to know what, how do you guys monetize for each of your domains separately, right? So like any models that you have tried and tested but did not work, or the model that you have fixated on because that's something that's consistently performing, and what are some of the common pitfalls or mistakes that you may have made while evolving in this process? Kaushik, let's start with you.
Okay. So Winzo is we started in early 2017 with a subscription model. We tried out with a trivia game only, where we provided a subscription-based model and users were kind of allowed to play a number of X games during the period of time. But we could not scale it much using that model, and we kind of pivoted our model towards microtransaction-led model, where we provided users to pay as small as ticket rupees of, let's say, 2 rupees to play a match, and we entirely ventured into a microtransaction model with multiple games on the platform, not just trivia. So that was something which we started as a beta product in 2018 early, and that kind of kicked it off really well, because there were two things which which eliminated the two problems which microtransaction led model eliminated. The biggest one was the network effect. So on subscription model, it's very difficult for a gaming platform to acquire a mass, while as we ventured into microtransaction model, because the ticket size is very small, let's say 2 rupees, 3 rupees, there's a huge mass available for users to communicate with each other and play. And hence we kind of shifted towards social and community aspects of the product as well. So that was one thing. And the second thing was, when you are doing very hyper casual games and all, there is a high amount of fatigue involved. So for example, if I keep playing Candy Crush on a similar same model again and again, it becomes very boring for me. But let's say I have introduced a microtransaction model. So I'll first try out, let's say, on 2 rupees, then I'll move towards 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 50 rupees. Then it becomes a kind of staggered growth for the user, and fatigue is kind of removed from the product itself. So these two are very great learnings for us. Obviously, we introduce a lot of new product features as well. But yeah, microtransaction led business model is something which works really great for us, where we take commission out of each gameplay. And apart from that, I think you also asked about a couple of things which we should avoid early on.
Yeah.
What we think is, subscription is just one thing which I mentioned to you, but we have tried multiple things in our early times and we failed as well. But the important thing is to pick up early signs and kind of move on from your trials and try out different models which kind of clicks on with the users, because at the end it's all about product market fit, and whatever clicks best with the users, you need to pick that up and kind of scale it up on that particular thing. Yeah.
Right, got it. So any key highlights in terms of something that typically does not work and is a common myth in real money gaming that you came across?
So, I mean, in real money gaming, the idea of real money gaming came because in India, the entire there are a lot of users who download games a year, but in-app purchases are very, very low, right? And when entire real money gaming kicked off in early 2018, there was a huge, I would say, when we were trying out and we were trying to distribute our product different from Play Store, right? Because Play Store simply does not allow real money platforms to operate using the infra. So the biggest myth was, you cannot distribute your APK or you cannot, you will not be able to do well outside the entire Play Store ecosystem. And now you're seeing an entirely different ecosystem developed by the RMG players in the industry. So that was something towards in the early part, everyone said that this will not be able to last much, but in RMG that turned out to be quite different. And in fact, it becomes even more easier to distribute your product, because on Play Store there's a cutthroat competition, while in RMG you can kind of capitalize on your early 2 years of growth, and you can easily monetize your product. So that was something which was beneficial for us.
Yeah, I think, that's an opportunity out of a problem that,
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
highlighted, which is great. Sid, what do you think about, your domain? Like,
Yeah, so I'll specifically speak of cricket.com and then probably give you a little bit of insight of how FanFight operates here. So cricket.com at this stage is contemplating three different ways of being able to monetize the platform. So basically, to put it as straightforward, we have three different revenue models that we are looking at currently. One of them being going the conventional way of trying to monetize the entire platform through ads, uh, which uh, which again, I mean, once your top of the funnel is adequate enough, I think that's something that most of the media platforms or content platforms do. So that's the way to go ahead.
yeah,
But having said that, the market also currently, at least in the space that we are with the likes of CrickBuzz and CrickInfo, the major pain points that we have figured out are the ads, right? So users are not keen on having the ads on their face all the time. And to be able to have another model around it is something that, again, we as a team used to contemplate. So two, three ways. One, as I said, the conventional way of going ahead and monetizing the entire platform. The second way is because FanFight and Cricket.com are under the same roof. We strongly believe that Cricket.com can be a channel, as Kaushik rightly put. The problem of distribution, which a real money gaming player thought is going to be a mammoth of a task, or is going to be an actual problem, didn't turn out that way. So we figured out ways of distributing real money gaming platforms, and in fact monetizing it 3 to 4 times better than the cutthroat competition across Play Store. So believing that cricket.com is on the Play Store and we might be able to reach out to a major chunk of users who are potential customers to FanFight, we try and surrogate the platform, cricket.com, to be able to create a channel for FanFight. So cricket.com's uh, I would say differentiating factor is the fact that we want users to be able to consume cricket or have a second screen experience which is different from what is available currently in the market. So we want them to look at data, but which is not complicated and palatable. Data which will help them take informed decisions if they try out fantasy or real money fantasy ever in their lives. So we're trying to make that funnel easy for a user. We're trying to ensure that more and more users understand how fantasy works, and cricket.com hence is trying to help them take informed decisions and then eventually create the funnel for FanFight. So that's one of the most feasible and lucrative model according to me for cricket.com currently. And the third one is going overseas where betting is legal, right? I mean, we can always go overseas as a betting affiliate for a betting bet 360, or for another firm like that in Australia where betting is legal again. Uh, Having said that, we are another platform which gives out odds, and the competition outside is really fierce in this particular segment. So, as per, I mean, the management and the team decides. We decided to at least ensure how our users are behaving. What do the users come for? What is the kind of retaining parameters that we have on cricket.com? And post collecting all of this data, we were able to, I mean, we were supposed to take a call on what's the most feasible revenue model for us at any given point of time. And because it's FanFight and cricket, that decision comes only after a major tournament like IPL. So
yeah.
that's active currently.
Yeah, got it. So I think, you beautifully put it that, you are more focused on analyzing the behavior well and then understanding the moments to monetize on. And I think, cricket.com does some bit of justice to it because there's a whole new section of crick analysis,
Yeah, yeah,
live, KPI
yeah,
tracking, and, the users are getting more transparent data to act on, right? So
exactly, exactly.
I think
Yeah.
that's beautiful. How does it translate for you, Deepak? And, in this new era of line, I think he's stuck. Deepak, are you there? You're on mute.
Yeah, am I audible? Because I'm not actually able to hear much, so I thought I would. Am I audible?
You are, but I think it's breaking. Your voice is breaking a bit.
Yeah, just give me a second.
Yeah,
Just give me a second. I'm
no
in
problem.
this connect. Yeah. Hi, am I audible now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of connected via the phone.
Yeah.
Kind of comes in. Sorry, the question was on the monetization part, right? You missed like the last 30, 40 seconds, I suppose.
Yes, the question was around, what are some of the models with which you're playing, rejected and accepted in terms of monetizing the entire live streaming a model that you're in terms of streamers, etc., or
Got it.
the follower base around them. Yeah.
Awesome. So we started off with so we've been in the real money game, but not technically a money in money out kind of a model. So we've been there in Play Store for quite some time now. We've been a reward based mechanism based on skills. Loco was into quiz as an option when we started off. Then we went into the hyper casual tournament model. Now we are also into the mainstream in Loco is currently into the esports live streaming and live content creation. In all these buckets, broadly the major monetization that we've done, or we looked at monetization from an angle of brand associations. Not from an inventory perspective, but this was more content led. How could a brand be integrated in any of these models? So whether it is quiz as a format where the brand could come in and probably ask, be integrated in the storytelling itself, which was the questions,